In the mid-90s, the Brazilian event IVC, the International Vale Tudo Championship, was one of the world's most brutal and controversial fighting tournaments. Names like Mark Kerr, Igor Vovchanchyn, and Wanderlei Silva all catapulted their careers within this organization. In the 6th edition, a confrontation between Brazil and the United States would be etched forever into history. On one side, Pelé Landi, a pioneer of the Chute Boxe Academy, who had just won a grueling 3-fight Grand Prix in the previous event. That year, he was the man to beat. On the other, Liddell, a future UFC superstar, yet largely unknown to the public, who was landing on Brazilian soil for the very first time, determined to prove his worth. Welcome to another Fight Docs. The year is 1998. The Cuban native based in Brazil, José Pelé Landi, had been on an impressive rise in recent years. Specialized in Muay Thai, he was one of the first members of the Chute Boxe team to gain worldwide recognition. Beating big names like Jorge Patino and Evangelista Cyborg, he held one of the best professional records at the time, totaling 13 wins and only 2 losses. Mark Coleman, already a standout in the UFC, had just helped his pupil Kevin Randleman succeed in Brazil. Now, Coleman recommended a new talent to the Brazilian promoters, a fighter he considered one of the biggest promises from the United States, Liddell. With just a single professional fight at UFC 17, Liddell decided to test himself in what was arguably the most brutal event of that era. Despite Pelé's advantage in numbers, Liddell was far from an easy task. He was taller and significantly heavier, and possessed a strong wrestling base, which would be a formidable weapon against the Brazilian striking game. In the opening moments of the bout, a surprise, Pelé landed a takedown, followed by a vicious flurry of ground and pound. Chuck, however, didn't take long to escape the position and return the fight to the feet. At times, the difference in strength between the two was evident, signaling that the Brazilian would need the right tools to overcome the disadvantage. Around the 4th minute, the first impactful blow landed, and it nearly ended the fight. A pinpoint high kick from the Brazilian made Liddell buckle at the knees, dropping him for a knockdown. In the following minutes, the American recovered, increasing his pace and aggression, landing solid combinations. Pelé, meanwhile, around the 12-minute mark, began to show the first signs of fatigue, yet he continued to accept the open fight, answering every strike. Capitalizing on the Brazilian's exhaustion, Liddell now shifted his strategy. He invested more heavily in takedowns and his physical advantage, delivering punishing sessions of punches and elbows on the ground. In the final stretch, just when Pelé seemed to be completely drained, he stunned everyone with another spectacular high kick, once again sending Liddell to the canvas for a knockdown. For a moment, he seemed to regain the upper hand before Liddell once again brought the fight to the ground. In the final minutes, Liddell managed to pin Pelé against the ropes, reaching the end of the full 30 minutes, delivering blows from the top position. The judges granted him the victory. The battle scars on the Brazilian's face were striking. He fought bravely, even with the weight disadvantage, but there was no denying it. The night belonged to Liddell. Returning to the United States victorious, having survived the fearsome Brazilian tournament, Chuck went back to the UFC, where he continued his career, becoming one of the most emblematic figures of the organization in the 2000s. He headlined epic rivalries, conquered the light heavyweight title, and fought until 2010. Jose Pelé Landi, despite the loss, continued his excellent run, stringing together 6 wins in his next 7 fights, beating names like Pat Miletich, Joel de Oliveira, and Matt Hughes. He retired in 2013 with an impressive 43 bouts, holding 28 wins and 15 losses.